I had a stupid thing muted the whole time. Welcome. We're here enjoying breakfast. I've got these breakfast quesadillas that are delicious. We're going to look at our bets from yesterday, recap the day that was in day one of the NFL Super Wildcard Weekend. Then we'll look ahead to what's coming up today, including the huge matchup between the Titans and the Ravens. I'll be at that game. We'll be doing a pregame live stream for that one, so make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel and have the bell turned on for notifications so you get alerted when we go live for that game. Trying to do that one around 11 o'clock. I planned to do this one around 9, but then I was making breakfast, so it took a little longer than I thought, but we'll preview that in a little bit. We've also got the Saints and the Bears coming up today, and then the nightcapper, the Steelers and the Browns. But before we get into today's games, let's look back at what we had yesterday. Look at my handy dandy gambling book. See what we had yesterday. If you follow me on Twitter, you saw my picks. I put them out there. If you don't follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. Uncle_mad with 2 Ds. It was pretty much chalk, pretty square, but I was looking at the board yesterday and I was thinking, if I go the opposite way of the picks I made, I feel a lot stupider losing that way than the way I would have. I ended up losing on a lot of these picks. So, for example, first game of the day, Colts, Bills. I had the Bills 6.5. If I had taken the Colts and the Bills had won that game by 30, I would have felt very, very stupid. As it stands, the Bills won by 3. I don't feel that bad about it. As I got closer to kickoff, I started to think like, oh, wait a minute, this kind of feels like a lot about like what happened with the Titans and the Ravens last year, where everybody was all on Lamar Jackson. Nobody gave the Titans a chance, and they went up there and just kind of beat the crap out of them. I've seen the Colts maybe being able to do that. A few things go right for them. That game could have gone differently. They had a ton of offense yesterday. They just couldn't complete drives. They had a 4th down that kind of flipped the game where they went for it, didn't get it. Bills drove 96 yards and scored. So could have gone very differently, though. I whatever reason it creeped in my head yesterday. Colts of this year could have been last year's Titans. Stud running back in Jonathan Taylor, just like we had stud running back in Derrick Henry. Savvy veteran quarterback who knows what to do, wearing number 17 on both teams. Colts couldn't quite get over the hump for it, though, so it didn't quite come to fruition. So Bills move on. I lost that bet, but I also had the Bills in a teaser with the Tampa Bay Bucks. I think everybody in the world had that same teaser, which made me think it was going to lose because there's no way as many people as I saw put that out there as one of their picks that it usually would hit under those circumstances. But the tease brought the Bills down to only a half point, which they covered by winning by 3. So that one kept in play. The middle game, I really had no idea what was going to happen in that one. I really didn't like anything about it. I mean, everything made sense that the Seahawks should win. The Rams were on their backup quarterback. Their starting quarterback was available, but he's got a broken thumb. Russell Wilson, supposedly this great hero that we've all done a travesty to by never giving him an MVP vote. Didn't look like an MVP yesterday. It broke like some crazy streak of home playoff wins for the Seahawks, though. So, once again, everything pointed to Seattle. I took Seattle -3. They lost by 10. I don't feel bad about it because just too many of the signs were pointing to Seattle. So I would have felt a lot stupider if they won by like 17 and I had the Rams +3. So, but I didn't really have a good feel for that game, but I kind of want to bet on every game. So I threw that out there because that was the best I could come up with. But Seahawks were very disappointing and kind of screwed the pooch on that one. I also had that as a part of a parlay. I parlayed everybody that thought was going to win every single game except Titans-Ravens because I don't bet on the Titans. That would have been a nice little payout if that had hit, but Seattle screwed that up. I had Pittsburgh, New Orleans, Tampa Bay, Seattle, Buffalo all parlayed on the money line, and I had a boost from DraftKings that brought that up to +536. Tampa Bay and Buffalo did their job. Seattle screwed up, which leads me to believe that New Orleans and Pittsburgh will probably do the job today because usually if I lose a parlay, I only lose like one leg and get completely screwed by something like that. But that leads us into the primetime game last night, the Bucks and the Washington football team. This is the game I got to watch the most of. I was working most of the day, so I kind of was in and out on watching the other games. last Sunday night, as soon as the Washington football team's game with the Eagles ended, I jumped on FanDuel. First line I saw, Tampa Bay -7. My thinking was a little compromised. It'd been a long day. I'd been watching Titans, watching other football all day, so I wasn't in my normal state of mind, so to speak. And I saw Tampa -7. I saw how bad Washington had just played against a Eagles team that was actively trying to lose the game. And I was like, there is no way Tampa Bay doesn't win the game next week by like 30 points. Jumped all over it, put way too big of a bet on Tampa Bay -7. Immediately regretted it the next day when I woke up and realized what I had done. But it worked out. That line climbed throughout the week. I think last night it actually closed at Tampa by 9.5. And Tampa won the game by 8. First half, they looked comfortable. They looked like they were absolutely going to rout Washington. Second half, I think Tampa kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit. And I think at the same time, Washington kind of took the chains off of Taylor Heineken, whatever their backup quarterback's name was, because he was going nuts in the second half. Late in the game, Tampa kicks a field goal to go up 8. I'm sitting there going, this is the worst case scenario. They're up by exactly what I need them to, because I also had a live bet boost on DraftKings that I threw on them when it had dropped to where they were only a 5.5-point favorite. So I'm sitting there. Tampa's up 8. I've got a lot of money on them -7. I got a little bit of money on them -5.5. And I've got a decent amount of money on them in the second leg of that teaser where they need to win by 2.5. So Washington gets the ball back, 2 minutes or so left to go, down 8. I am 100% sure they're going to drive down, score a touchdown, go for 2, miss it. Tampa Bay wins the game by 2, which blows up all of my bets. Luckily, it didn't happen, though. Tampa's defense tightened up when it needed to tighten up. Got a sack, drove him back. They had a 4th and 21, basically no hope. Game over. Tampa wins by 8. All 3 of the things I had in play on that game cash. Pretty much saved my day because I lost on the 2 sides I bet on the early games. So getting those 3 wins right there really was a big help to me. I also had DraftKings had a no-brainer pick where you could bet $25 to win $25 if there was at least 1 touchdown scored over the course of the wildcard weekend. I mean, that's obviously why that's called a no-brainer. There was tons of touchdowns scored. So went 5-2 on the picks yesterday. I also had some random basketball game under because somebody I follow on Twitter threw it out, and they're usually pretty smart on their stuff. So I'll jump on their picks if they're going to throw them out there. I threw that out there. So 5-2, up 16 units off the big plays we had yesterday. So pretty satisfying day. It makes as long as I don't do something crazy and like throw a huge bet unnecessarily out there today, makes this weekend's going to be profitable pretty much no matter what I do. I don't have much plays right now so far for today. I don't bet the Titans game, so that one's off the board. I really don't like the other 2 games. I took Pittsburgh at 5.5 right when the COVID news broke about the Browns coach because I thought it was going to skyrocket the number. It really hasn't. I think like as of this morning, it's only up to 6.5, so I really didn't gain that much by taking it when I did. I did, however, accidentally bet a lot more on the game than I wanted to. I thought I was placing a 1-unit bet, but I was actually just adding 1 unit to the standard bet, so I ended up betting 6 units on that game. It's not a game I feel like is a 6-unit safe play bet at all. Actually, and the more the week's gone on, the more I've started to think this could be like one of those games where just like no coach, all the issues, the Browns rally and just have a miracle, finally, storyline, first ever victory in Pittsburgh in like 20 years type of game. And I kept looking at the number because I was like, if that number would go up to 7 or 7.5 for the Browns, I'd probably take it on the other side. I'd like to hedge this pick, but I honestly don't know how to hedge picks, and it's more trouble than I want to do to probably, if I did try to hedge, I'm the person that would end up losing double my money somehow by hedging. So I'm going to ride with that Pittsburgh 5.5 unless there's something weird that happens where the Cleveland number jumps up huge. If I was going to bet the Titans game, I said earlier in the week, I liked the Titans when it was at 4.5. I think this is going to be a close game. It's now down to 3 or 2.5. If I was going to take a side, I'd still take the Titans. Even though I'm thinking the Ravens, this is just, once again, storylines, the way everything's playing out. This feels like, again, the Ravens, unfortunately, might come in and win. But I think it's close. I don't think it's a blowout either side. So if it's going to be close, I would lean towards the underdog, which is us, we're the home team and whatnot. But I'd also look at the over-under. I don't bet unders, but the over is interesting. I was talking with a buddy last night, and he was really excited about the over. My thought on that is, if you think the Titans are going to win the game, take the over, because if the Titans win, it's going to be something like 35-28, 35-21, 35-27, because we're not going to stop them. The Ravens are definitely going to score like between 24 and 40 points, somewhere in that range. So for us to win, we have to score 30 to 40 points. So if you think the Titans are going to win the game, feels to me like the over would be the play there, because, like I said, we're going to have to score 30 to 40 to win the game. If we score 30 to 40, there's no way we're not going to keep them from scoring 30 to 40. I think the over-under is sitting somewhere around like 52, 51. I don't know. Hey, you know what we can do? Technology. We can actually look at it. But I think it's close either way, but I could also see if things just start going wrong, if we don't find our rhythm. Sometimes we've gotten into really bad spots and we haven't been able to find our rhythm. And, the Green Bay game, I have a weird feeling this could end up that game where if we can't get into a rhythm, we can't get things going, they just run away from it and we're just done before the game even starts. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be close one way or the other, but if the Ravens get up like 28 something, they might be able to hold us to like 17, 28-17 win for them, which to me would suggest, like I said, the under in that situation. So let's look. Okay, so over under. The over's set at 54. So like I said, if you think the Titans are going to win, take the over, because both teams are going to put up points in that scenario. We're just going to have to outscore the Ravens to win this game. So it would take 30, 35, 40 points for us to win, which means they would also be scoring somewhere in the range of 28, 30, 35. So if you think the Titans win, take the over. If you don't think the Titans win, maybe – I don't bet unders, so I wouldn't take the under. But line is now at 3.5 for the Ravens. So I would take the Titans in that situation, because I think that's on the other side of the 3, the football number, the 3. So you got the hook there where if they beat us by a field goal, you win your bet. If we win, you win your bet. But I'm not betting that game. I don't bet that game. Might do a weird prop or something if there's something interesting, but I'm not going to bet anything on the actual result. So the Bears, Saints, we've got that game next. It's going to be a Nickelodeon game. I'm really excited to see the presentation of that game on Nickelodeon, just SpongeBob. I heard on a podcast I listened to, one of the things they were talking about that was really interesting was what's going to happen if there's like a serious injury in the game. Do they like slime the player? How does Nickelodeon's presentation deal with something like that? But that'll be fun. But the spread is huge. It's up to Saints 10.5. That's an interesting one. I think the Saints win. The Bears are missing some key people on defense, and they also have Mitchell Trubisky. That's a huge number, though. Underdogs, at the final number, underdogs covered the spread in every game yesterday. Like I said, I had Tampa when it opened at 7. The final number was 9.5. So Washington covered that. So underdogs were 3-0 against the spread yesterday. So does that continue today? 10.5 is a huge number for the Saints to cover. But they've been clicking them. They're getting all their offensive weapons back. The Bears missing some key defensive people. I'm leaning Bears right now just because that seems like too big of a number, and could also see the Saints just kind of going into cruise control once they have control of the game, making sure they're staying healthy, because Drew Brees, he's still probably got about 20 or so ribs that are broken. Just get the lead, get control of the game, settle in, don't do anything too risky. I could see the Saints doing that, which would lead me to take the Bears. But this also feels like the games yesterday, where if I take the Bears and the Saints win by 20, I'm going to feel really stupid. If I take the Saints and they only win by like 3 or 4, I won't feel that dumb, except the fact that I've talked myself out of it. I don't know. I'm going to think about that one a little bit longer and make a decision on what to do there. But right now I'm leaning Bears. Whew, that's weird. I'll make a decision on that later. I'll tweet out all my picks, whatever I settle on later today. So once again, follow me on Twitter at Uncle_Mad, Mad with 2 D's, not 1. Like I said, I already kind of talked about this game, Browns-Steelers. It's now at Steelers -6. I've already got it logged in at Steelers -5.5. Not a big swing there. But the more the week's gone on, the more I thought the COVID thing doesn't worry me as much with the Browns. I like the Browns team, the two-headed monster running attack. Baker. This is the type of game Baker plays well in. Usually it's when he's riding high and everybody's talking how good he is and he's feeling himself and talking crap to Colin Cowherd. Then he has to come back down to earth game. Like he was, riding high after he beat the crap out of the Titans, and rightfully so. Next week kind of fell off a cliff. This is a week everybody's doubting him. Everybody thinks they got no chance. He comes out, beats the Steelers. Browns win in Pittsburgh for the first time ever. Not first time ever, but first time in like 100 years. Maybe in the Big Ben era forever. He gets to grab the flag, plant it at half field. He's high and mighty for a whole week and then gets smashed by the Chiefs next week. But if I had it to do over again, I would take the Browns. And if that number somehow jumps a point between now and kickoff, I might take the Browns. Somebody just made a disaster out in the hallway, but yeah, dang. I'm not happy that I have Pittsburgh -5.5 and a lot of money on it. That's my only official pick right now. I am going to pick something on the Bears Saints game at some point in time today. Once ever either I run out of time and just have to go with my gut, or if I get some new information that makes me think one way or the other. But might add some weird prop or something on the Titans game just to have something to do. But I think, oh gosh. With that being said, I'll wrap up this live stream, finish my breakfast, get dressed, get ready to head out to Nissan Stadium for the Titans-Ravens playoff game. Like I said, we'll be doing a pregame live stream for that. Should be around 11 o'clock if I can make things work the way I want to. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel, have the bell turned on for notifications so you get the alert when we go live with that pregame. Kyle will be with me. He's always popular. You never know what he's going to say. He's kind of a crazy person. You're not going to want to miss that. We'll have more breakdown and analysis of the Titans game at that time. May have some updates on bets at that point in time. But thanks for watching. We'll be back later today.